Hello, everyone. This is Jimmy Cultist, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial by request. We're going to do how to make a controllable rolling ball character. And fair disclaimer, this is something that technically has already done. You can actually find the controllable ball quite easy. Here it is. And you can just stamp it out if you want to see their solution. I'm basically using the exact same solution, however I could probably give you a few, pointers on how I did it and everything. Also, the construction method is a bit different if you want to build it yourself, but if you're interested in using MM's version, you can just, modify it however you please and it already exists. Might save you time. But I'm going to show you how to make it. For the most part. There's some things that honestly go over my head occasionally. Anyway, press stamp, shape, flipped mirror, kaleidoscope, set it to 4, and make sure it's stamp shape and not smear shape. Alright. Now basically what we're doing here is trying to get a dead center. We want a cube at the center of this sphere. So I'm going to press copy, oops, and all you got to do to clone things is L1 and R2. Alright. It doesn't matter which one you end up clicking on, just so long as you're clicking on one of them. And we're going to use kaleidoscope. Now we're going to delete the outer sphere. And this should be our perfect cube in the center. It might not be exactly dead center, but it doesn't really matter a whole ton. And now that they're grouped, scope in, L1 and X, we're going to go ahead and turn off luminoise. Just looks prettier that way. And once you got hide everything on, just hide the outer sphere. Then we're going to place a chip down. Yeah, you could really put anything on this chip you want. Make it in the center as much as possible. And you may be wondering, why did we go through all this trouble and not put it on the outside of the ball? Well, it has to do with the center of the controls. When you actually have it moving, you want it to be as dead center as possible, or else it might mess up the orientation of the controls. But now that we've got our group and we've got our tag on the inside, you can see it in there. Let's go ahead and delete that. Oops. Maybe don't delete it. First, let's move our tag outside. Mostly align it with the cube, then delete the cube. And now that it's outside of there, it's considered a different group. And that's all you have to do if you want to, just press view, hide, and move it around until you get it dead center like you want it. I think that's practically dead center. Yeah, I think that'll do. Alright, we're ready to roll. And we can unhide our sphere now. And go ahead and set it to movable. The group, that is. Now I put these little spines all over the last one I made, but those aren't really necessary. We are going to open this logic up though, in case I need to refresh myself on what I'm doing. It occasionally happens. We're going to want a value slider, and all this is going to do is help you modify and, change certain values. It's really useful if you want to be able to access logic without, going into all the nitty-gritty and opening up every single tweak menu. You can just stick this in there remotely. It does require an extra wire, and wires run up thermo when there's a lot of them, but I think we can afford to have a few wires. This is actually an extremely efficient piece of logic at only 1% gameplay. All this here. So did a pretty good job on keeping it, pretty good. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and dupe this out 3 times. This one here is going to be movement strength. Upper one is top speed. This will give you an idea of what these are going to be hooked up to later. Oh, not just top. We probably want to put speed or SP. And the last one is jump height. Height. E before I. Anyway. I suppose also has this little thing here. Imp visible. I'm not really going to bother to make the imp visible. I suppose if that's something you want to do, that's cool. I would just look at MM's logic. It's fairly simplistic. If you want to understand how to do that, I'm not really interested in the imp. I'm going to put out this chip. We're also going to put out this global settings chip, which I believe the reason why they have it is to modify the gravity strength of this object. I think. Like I said, some of this I don't know if I even would have thought of it. Advanced, some of this is pretty advanced stuff. I know that, well, I mean, it's not really advanced. It's just stuff I don't really dabble in that much. Auto guide, I think, is mainly just for if you want to stamp the thing out. Now, they got their set funny, too. That's actually pretty old. I don't even think they use some of this stuff anymore. But just in case... See, this isn't even here anymore. I'm going to go ahead and try to do the auto guide right, just in case. I don't really think it does anything. I think it's mostly for, grid snap and stuff like that. I think. Honestly, I'm not even sure what an auto guide is. I've done Dreams for a long time, but I don't really know. Anyway... I do think I like the idea of labeling this just like they did logic. I don't know about processing. That's a little bit extra. And then we'll stamp out our dear little controller. And we're going to put it to force possession down here, which basically will make you instantly possess this thing once it starts. I also think... I'm not sure, but I bet that they have theirs centered. Oh, they don't. Well, we'll leave it there then. I'm also going to delete the ability to depossess it. And this is where we're going to put all of our inputs, drag these wires and connect them to the things we want to control. I intend to do a tutorial on the controller sensor and some of its basic functions for new people, but that's going to be a little bit later. Let's see what these are. Die and respond. That's for death and stuff. I guess we could have that. I wasn't intending to do it, but yeah, let's just go ahead. For now, though, we're going to have the calculator. That's the first biz I remember. It's obviously set to multiply. Value 30 on upper hand 1. That means it's probably connected to top speed. Set the value to 30, of course. Might as well get all our values out of the way right off the bat, since we're going to be using them later. Movement strength, 40. Jump height, 8. Yeah. That should do nicely. And let's go ahead and connect, get our movement strength. Get that out of the way. Gonna be doing that later anyhow. Then we'll want the left stick connected to the B port of the calculator. Sorry if this just seems like a really boring, redo of what they already did, but I can help in one regard. If you want to dissect this and rearrange it, it might be useful to know what some of this stuff does. Anyway, let's stamp out our death chip, I suppose. I might make it look a little bit different than they made it look. Health manager. Also, I'm willing to bet that they're, probably want to label this friend or foe, whichever one, depending. They've clearly got counter. And they've got this emitter for a death effect, like if you wanted to have an explosion or something when you died. I don't really think I'm going to be doing that, though, in this video, just because it would take extra time. They also have this little node, which connects to the die, input for the controller sensor, which will basically just kill this thing, destroy it, so to speak. Ball not movable or collidable or visible. That's probably to make it, disappear when it dies. And if you wanted to, do that, it's as simple as that. Provided you're scoped in, of course. And the timer, I guess, is the amount of time it would take before it resets and respawns. This is something that would be up to your discretion. They have it at 1.5. I think that's reasonable. Then you just take timer finished pulse and connect it to the respawn feature, which is already handily built into our controller sensor. I'm not sure if all of this is going to work right, immediately off the bat. We won't be needing this, because that's the imp. We will be needing the left stick splitter. Let's go ahead and connect that. And we're going to be needing a linear, advanced mover, I should say. Let's see what kind of settings that they've got going on here. Okay, so we got, looks like 40% strength, That's not the base input, of course. That's just the maximum. And probably, ooh, 0.5 on movement. That's maximum, of course. Do they have negative for Z? No, they don't. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, I guess dampening isn't something you're going to be wanting, because otherwise this thing would float in the air, probably. And we're going to want the X value of our, splitter connected to X. Handy. And now let's go ahead and get our rotational, mover. And again, they're probably using an advanced rotator, because there's certain benefits to using advanced rotators and movers. Mainly it comes to input. And the dampening we're going to put down to nothing. Maximum negative 100. Now here is where they start reversing the inputs. I knew they probably would do it somewhere. Negative at the bottom, positive at the top. It's just a thing. I don't know. It's a programming thing. I don't even know what it means. And now that we've got that all ready, hook up X to Z. I don't think we need to worry about those secondary inputs. And we're going to go ahead and hook up movement strength to our little friend here. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't think it's supposed to be that way. Maybe it's supposed to be set to 1? Yeah, it's supposed to be set to 1. Go ahead and set it to 1 after you've connected that. Alright, and Y will connect to Z and X. And if you actually look at this thing, I guess we can't exactly see it, but let's pull it out real quick. There's Z and X for you if you want to know where they are. Speaking of which, how come we can't see them when we open them here, but we can see them when we open them there? That's kind of weird. I think we might have to attach affected objects to this thing. And if you need any trouble telling, what these inputs are, this will show you which way Z, Y, and X rotate if you're curious. And experiment with, your own objects and stuff if you're really confused about that. Next, we've got this edge condition thing here. I imagine that's for the jump? Seems like it is. And they're using a signal manipulator. Just go into X and connect it right there. And I want to make sure I get the settings right. They're using this one. Doesn't look like anything else needs to be modified though. And we'll take an AND gate, which requires 2 inputs to send out an output. 2 active inputs. Connect it to A. And over here we have a calculator. And this is basically controls the distance from the ground that our little fellow, how far from the ground is he when he's able to jump. So we're going to set up a laser scope. Probably going to zoom out a little bit just so we can see the little bally there. Or maybe zoom in. Yeah, put it about center. I don't think there's any particular settings you're going to need for the laser scope. 0.5 seems pretty good. Now theirs doesn't collide with friend, so there is that. And it is on X-ray mode. It's got a lot of outputs, you know, outputs going in there. Gonna have to be sticking this in another signal manipulator. Of course, the one we're stamping out isn't really that weird. It's basically on the smooth only setting, which is, you know, the starting setting. I guess it has a little bit of a time delay, a smooth fall of 0.1. Then we've got this handy little calculator over here, which inputs a value greater than. Most likely this is to limit your ability to jump. I'm not sure what your basic value would be. I guess it has to be greater than 0. That's nice, I suppose. Connected to B. And if we're doing everything right, this should all work nice. Now these are sound effects. I don't know if I want to get into those right away. And this just displays the controls of our little ball. You could basically do that yourself. It's not really a big deal. If you really need a tutorial on text boxes, I could talk about it. I just figured, you know, most basic format. And we're going to have this little mover, which is always set to up, which is a good idea. Although we will need to, you know, do that affected objects thing again. I guess the dampening is non-existent with this. And the speed is 4.3, although you could modify it if you wanted your ball to go higher, I guess. Or it might be 0.5, actually. Hard to say. And I'm guessing that they probably connected this. Yep, they did. Let's go ahead and copy this out real quick. Set it to plus. And there's our little jump height going straight into the calculator. And it'll fit nicely into our mover. Now, of course, they're doing one little extra thing here, which is up Y velocity. And I think this controls the speed in which it, you know, because like if you're moving and you jump, that's probably going to affect it a little bit. So we're going to need another splitter. We're also going to need this little thing here called a movement sensor. And what it does is basically just sense the movement of a thing in any direction from X, Y, and Z. Now we have two inputs we're working with here. Y, which is connected to the splitter, is our first input. How very nice. And we have velocity overall, which is neatly connected to this thing here. This all goes into the sound effects though, so I don't think we're gonna really, you know, maybe we'll cover that. Maybe it's not a big deal. But for now, splitter's positive value goes into B on this calculator. And we're starting to get somewhere. Oh, and don't forget to connect AND gate to jump, like so. And we can label this jump, just so we know what we're doing, kind of. And I think we might actually be able to start business. I'll tell you what. Maybe we will cover some of this stuff. Just because well, I don't know. Let's see. We're going to make this power off so that we can kind of test our ball. He seems to be moving okay. There's a little bit of jitter, but I think that's because we might not have it dead center. There's also this kind of little delay here and there. Let's see if we got anything wrong. I can believe that perhaps I made a mistake somewhere in that hole, you know. Looks like for the most part it's connected properly. Calculator working properly? I'm a bit concerned. I made a mistake. I don't know, it looks like it's working okay to me. Yeah, I think we've got everything connected properly. This one, though, moves a lot smoother. And I made this one yesterday, so... It's not that I can't do it, it's just, something's not quite working right. I think it's our chip. Go ahead and do some modification. A chip, maybe it's the size of it? Position? That feels better. I think it's just the chip. Also, our height from the ground might be a little bit something we want to modify. Actually, I think what it is we want to lower our distance from the ground. Let's try that. Yeah, that doesn't work at all. Okay, it does need to be longer. Oh, I think I know what it is. Yeah, I think I know what it is. Just a second. Let me try out this other rolling ball. I have a theory about what might be causing this. Oh. The chip is still aligned the same. That's interesting. What could it be? Maybe we have stuff pointed the wrong way? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, it appears to be facing the right direction. This is strange. That should be 0.5. Let's go ahead and turn this on real quick just to see. 0.5, 0.5, 0.8, 0.5. Okay, that might have been what was causing some of the issue. Yeah, this seems pretty good. Okay, problem solved. And we're going to cover the sound effects real quick, since we have the time to. Basically, all this is going to be is, inputting a bunch of stuff that already exists. If you want to know where to search sound effects, just go in here, and everything you could want. I'm guessing it's probably machines and movement is where they got the vast amount. Just go right in here, and you can find that there, in sound mode. But I'm going to go ahead and copy what they already have, just because it's a lot easier. And we're going to copy the connections, of course. Signal manipulator. .1. Connected to a node. And I believe that, yes, it's connected to hit something. Then we've got a calculator. Appears to be a multiplier of some kind. And we're going to be connecting a good old velocity overall. So basically this would control the sound effect it makes when it rolls, period. And we're connecting that to upper hand too. Actually, don't connect it to B. I mean, don't connect it to A, connect it to B. And the other one, yeah, it's just plain hit something. Simple. Okay, I think we've got... Oh yeah, we got another one up here. That's interesting. That comes from our AND gate. It's going to connect there. And we're just going to go ahead and connect this right there to our landed. I suppose that's what we're going to make, you know, when it impacts with the floor. Down here we have our rolling input, which it will make when it moves. We're going to go ahead and copy this, because it's just a chip with sound effects in it. And an effects field. I don't really know why they used an effects field. They also have a speaker Foley. Speaker present Foley thing. I don't even know. Maybe that's like to... I think that's probably to put the sound in a certain location. It's probably some kind of nifty thing I wouldn't use, but, you know. Another signal manipulator. They seem to have an interesting frequency going on here. Hopefully I can recreate that. If not, I would advise just copying this, because truth is, sometimes these things cannot be created. Part of the trouble is I don't even know how to manipulate this thing. Yeah, it's a mess. My advice, when you come to one of these babies, just copy it yourself from their thing, because it's just a nightmare. And it will connect to the first two sounds. And down here we have another movement sensor, which is just velocity overall. I don't know why they couldn't use the other one. It's connected to another goofy signal manipulator. Velocity overall. Does that connect to the effects field? Yeah, I guess it does. Don't know what that does. Like I said, some of this is a bit out of my league. I don't know. I don't really use these things. I don't even know if it's necessary to use these things. Seems like our little ball here has a lot of problems with colliding randomly. Before it's supposed to. Maybe we gotta put in relative to object? That being the object. I really get the impression it's not supposed to be making that thumping constantly. I did so well with this first ball. See? He doesn't do that. Anyway, I think we're done. I think pretty much we got it. So, if you want to just have an easy time of it, go to search, look up the controllable ball character. I think that would probably make it very, you know, very easy on you. But if you want to construct it yourself, I've given kind of a guide for how you could go about doing that. It's mainly getting this chip in the center proper. That's where I think most of the tricky aspects come in. The controls and everything, duplicating them isn't so bad. But we're going to give a quick shout out to our wonderful supporters on Coffee. There they go. And that's all. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss another video. If you wish to support our earnest insanity, you can check the links in the description to donate or buy merch. Until next time, goodbye.